What is happening, everybody? I hope you've had a good...
Back in like 2005, something like that.
I think my first con was so good. It's Friday Junior.
It's Friday Junior, it's podcast day, it's payday.
And if you come out doing a like, doesn't matter how you feel about the situation.
My name is Raff, and always before we start the podcast, because we just want to talk about it. We'll talk about music and just share those stories and experience. This is my co-host, Carl, aka the Beer Buddy. He is hailing you.
This sort of weird era where they're sort of right in that post-grunge.
Look, you're fighting the good fight in today's world. My war was fought 40 years ago, really.
We are the two dudes who talk music, and we are here. Hey, I'm too quick on that air horn button, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, that is amazing. I love it. Your second of it, dude. Fantastic.
How you doing, buddy?
Ooh, feeling a bit scruffy, but feeling good.
Little scruffy. It looks good, man. It looks good. Keep it. Keep it.
In again. I'm going to. It's not going anywhere.
You could be Beer Buddy and you could be Beard Buddy.
Yeah, the bearded Beer Buddy.
Yeah, you could do start up another channel reviewing beard products.
Yeah,
Beard Buddy
oils.
and
send us stuff. Both of us.
That's a thing. Although yours looks better than mine. Mine's a lot more scruffy and steel wool looking than yours.
That's how mine feels at the moment. Far out.
Mate, I'm in a pretty good mood. Metal to the Max is coming up real fast. If you are watching this on the week it releases or listening, hello if you're listening to us. It is only a couple of weeks away, if that. Yeah. So don't waste your time. Get your tickets now. Because you don't have much time left. And if you don't get them, it's going to pass you by. I'm excited though as well because the business cards came in.
Yeah, they look red hot. Or should I say orange hot? They look fire. They
show everybody there.
Red hot.
There you go.
Give us a yell if you want to come on the podcast or anything like that.
Not the fanciest or most elegant of designs. Nothing that Patrick Bateman would be particularly proud of, but it's going to be good enough. We're going to have, now at least if we talk to bands at gigs or whatever, we can be like, hey, yo, we do this podcast. Here's our details. Rather than going, just look us up. It's this. And then after the fact, they're like, what was that guy talking about again? What podcast was that again? So just makes it a little bit easier. So if you're at a show and we give you one, give us a buzz. Give us a little ringy ring. Hit us up on the Facebook and all that stuff. And we can get you on.
Yeah.
But and I'm also excited because at time of recording, Scene Queen is about to kick off her Aussie tour.
Oh shit,
so
that's right.
I got my tickets for that one. I'm going to be going.
Well, there's a couple of shows coming up in September. You got Scene Queen in September.
Yep. So
Scene Queen's in September.
And then
you got
touring
Red
as
Hook,
well.
yeah.
Red Hook's just kicked off their tour. I mean, at time of recording, if you're watching this when it's released, it's probably a little bit too late. We've all finished, but I'm excited. I got tickets to both, so I bought
tickets. I got my Good Things tickets. I got my pre-sales.
Very nice.
Yeah, man.
And I also secured my tickets to AEW Grand Slam, which is coming to Brisbane in February.
That. Very cool.
Am I excited for that one? That is going to be at Suncorp Stadium in February, although the one thing I'm not super keen on, the one thing I'm not really happy about is I got good seats in terms of placement within the arena and how the stage and the ring's going to be set up. But those seats are in the eastern stand. And the doors open on the event at 3 p.m. So if we go in at 3 p.m., we are going to have all that afternoon sun coming down until it gets low enough.
Just head into Bunnings. Go get yourself a fishing shirt, man.
A fishing shirt?
Yeah, dude. They're SP, like they're sun protective rated. They're long sleeve, and they breathe, man.
See, that's the most important thing is the breathing.
They breathe.
If I got to wear long sleeves in a Brisbane summer, and I don't know if they thought that through. I don't know if they thought that through, to be honest with you, because in the bowl of that stadium in mid-February in Brisbane, it's going to be, they'll be down in there. It's probably be 35 degrees and 98% humidity outside the stadium. Down in the bowl, it's probably going to be warmer with all those bodies and everything down in there. So
bring a little fan.
Yeah, yeah. But look, that's just the music thing. Y'all don't need to hear me geeking about my wrestling shit.
No, it's good though. You
But,
got to think how much that has music has a placement and things like that. You know what I mean?
True. It's true. I mean, music is a huge part of wrestling. It always has been. So
creates theme. It creates hype when your favorite wrestler comes out, and you know who it is because you like the Breaking Glass man, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Did you see he brought out his own beer line?
Yeah, he's been
I'm
doing.
going to try and get my hands on it.
He's been doing his beer and all that for a while, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, man. Like I'm excited. Lots of cool things coming up. I'm pretty sure we're going to start seeing announcements for Knotfest once the initial fuss is over for good things. So we can probably start counting on that soon as well. Lots of good stuff coming up. It's coming around to
Iron Maiden
festival
this
season.
Month as well.
Iron Maiden. There you go.
Now I'm going to Maiden, so there might be a little video about Maiden. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff coming up. It's a busy, busy time. And I mean, look,
man.
I've just been trying to survive up here at the moment. It's been a little bit warm this weekend. The last weekend of winter, and it was 36 degrees yesterday.
Ooh,
so
far out.
Yeah, it's not been great. It's not been great.
I made the switch over. My fan made the switch over from winter to summer this week.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a very unseasonable warmth, but we're dealing with that. We're making it work, We're making it work. That's why I got the ducted aircon installed, thankfully. Saving my goddamn life right now. Jesus Christ. There's no way.
Just wait till what do you got to, mate? Just wait till we get out to the desert.
At least that's dry. At least that's a dry heat. It's more manageable.
But I'll tell you what, I hope everyone's prepared for that massive change when the nighttime hits because it's going to get cut. Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make sure I bring some, at least one set of one over the top overlayer and stuff like that because it's going to get chilly once the sun goes down.
You'll be sweating.
We're getting close. So, like we've been saying in the lead up to this Metal to the Max, if you are driving out there, please do not underestimate the Outback. Make sure that your tires are all ready to go and in good nick, including your spare. Make sure you got extra coolant, water, food, sunscreen. Make sure you've got like puncture repair kits, first aid.
Learn how to use it.
Learn how to use all that stuff.
Repair kit. They're easy.
Little fire extinguisher for your car. Like if you're doing a long trip like that, you need to be prepared. So please, for the love of God, do not underestimate the Outback.
Check your water. Have spares.
Make sure everything's ready to go, please, because the last thing we want is anyone running into some trouble on the way out there. And just be mindful. You're going to be out in the Outback. There's going to be animals and all that operating on a different level to what they do in the city if you're not used to being out there in the middle of nowhere. We're
going to be out on a camel farm too.
As well. Yep. So, just be careful and don't overestimate your fuel tank size because it can be a long way between servos. So just be careful, look after yourselves and take the precautions because we want everyone to get there safely and we want everyone to have a great time and no one to get stuck and run into dramas. So, but yeah, look, we got 2 more interviews. This one today, and then next week, and then it's game time, baby.
Yeah,
it's going to be game time. So we are diving in today with another one of the bands from Metal to the Max. If this is your first time hearing us and you're just thinking, what is this Metal to the Max thing they're talking about? What's all this Outback? What's all this nonsense? What's all this bullshit they're talking? Metal to the Max is a 2-day heavy metal festival taking place at the Mad Max 2 compound out near Broken Hill. It's camping for 3 nights, bands for 2 days, 12 hours of bands. Each has like 15 bands each day.
Yes.
Some huge thing. And it's camping out there, so you can camp out there for 2 days. Links are going to be down in the description along with a Spotify playlist of all of the bands that are going to be involved. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a hell of a time. Like we said, though, just make sure you take precautions.
How long's the playlist?
I don't know. I think it's like 2 or 3 songs from each band, something like that. So
okay, that's a good chunk of that's a good chunk of the. We should listen to that playlist the whole way out.
Yeah, maybe. Well, this is the thing. I think we're going to have to come up with what I find is okay. So, what's your preference for long drives in terms of what you're listening to? Like, how do you utilize that to hack it and make it seem like less of a long journey?
So when I did the Gymnar one, which is when you think about it, roughly the same distance, just in obviously in different directions. But mine was a bit of talkback.
Yep.
I found a bit of radio, sort of broke it up because the voices sort of change through the day. You get like different presenters and different people sort of come in and out. So a bit of radio helped, bit of talkback. But what I found was, just trying to find a really good album or something that you haven't listened to in a while and to just pick a couple and just that you know that you like front to back.
Yeah. See, albums are a good one. Like if you for me, it's either like finding some nice long podcasts and saving up a couple of them to listen while I'm doing that. Or as you say, albums are really, really good, especially double albums.
Yeah.
You can get double albums that are running into that sort of space of like 90 minutes to 2 hours kind of thing. That is a nice spot I find to use, especially things like concept albums like, Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall are really good ones.
Yeah.
You can get that full listen through and you hear the songs you might normally skip. Or, if you've got like, for me, a one that I've gone to a lot on long drives is the Symphony and Metallica albums.
Oh,
because
yeah,
those are nice
yeah.
and
I can't
long,
do that. I
it's a
fall
bit-
asleep to symphony music.
Yeah, but things like that I find are super, super handy for those long drives. They help to pass the time a little bit more quickly.
I find that if you're doing the right thing and you're stopping every 2 hours, it does pass a lot quicker.
It helps.
Like the time does good. For some reason, a 12-hour drive can go a lot quicker if you're actually doing the right thing and stopping every 2 hours and having a stretch. And
For sure. I mean, it helps to feel, just breaks it up into chunks, and you kind of never got more than a couple of hours until our stop. So it's, that's always helpful. But yeah, make sure you look after yourselves, stop, revive, survive, all that good stuff. And we are going to dive in with today's guest. We have with us, as I said, one of the bands playing at Metal to the Max. We've got Hidden Intent. These guys are absolutely tearing it up. If you're a fan of, like 80s thrash, I also found listening to their stuff this week a little bit of a Machine Head vibe.
Yeah,
from
the Kerry King-esque.
Machine Head's kind of thrashier stuff, So it's look, we're excited for this one, so we're going to dive right into it, and then we will see you guys on the other side. Thank you very much, Chris, for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Chris from Hidden Intent with us today for a good old chat all about what the band has been doing, the band's history, what they got coming up, including but not limited to Metal to the Max. Mate, how you been doing? How's your day going?
Pretty bloody good, mate. I just had Father's Day shenanigans today, so just got back from round one of the family day, Father's Day adventures, and then another one tonight. So it's all happening, man. All the jocks and socks and
deodorant,
a little bit dusty
aftershave,
today.
and
When you're a touring muso, you can't get enough new jocks and socks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, actually, funny you say that. Last weekend we played Geelong and Portland, of all places, in Victoria, and I stupidly fucking didn't pack any extra socks or jocks. So I literally suffered in my jocks the entire weekend. I had to stay in them the entire time, and it was fucking hilarious. The guys.
We Similar story for you.
It would have been a free ball day.
Similar story for you. We back when I was in Tensions Arise, we had a bit of a penchant for taking our pants off on stage.
A bit.
And the singer realized before we were playing an away show. And the singer realized, but it was, I say away show, but it was just for the night, just for that. We'd a couple of hours out of Sydney, and then we were driving home that night. So, we hadn't packed to stay overnight or anything like that. Anyway, we get to the venue and the singer comes rushing up to me. He's like, bro, I need you to take me down to Kmart. I'm like, why? I'm thinking he's ripped his pants or something. He's like, I've realized that the boxers I'm wearing don't have a button over the dick hole.
Oh,
and I'm like, right. I'm like, okay. You can't just not take your pants off for the night. He's like, no, we got to go and get. So we had to, drive his ass down to Kmart so he could get something that was, not going to mean he was flashing a whole audience of of punters.
Yeah, because he probably had a hole in it, like they got an old pair,
it was
right?
like-
and he's just
yeah.
like, I'm not going to replace it. You know,
Well,
the typical
it was a pair that we
brand
bought.
new.
It was a pair that he'd bought in the US, and a lot of the time boxes in the US don't have a button over the
front.
hole at the front. It's just there, which is weird. I
know.
Fix your shit, Americans. Put a button on it, please.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but I feel your pain with, like, you know, you go away for something like that, and you like need to frantically try and find replacement pair of Grundies for it, you know.
Oh,
Yeah, the guys were cool. They were like, we can take you, dude. We can take you to KMR or something like that, man. Like exactly what you just said. And I was like, no. I need to learn from this because I packed everything else.
And need to
stuff that I
suffer.
probably didn't even really. Yeah, and now I'm like, no, I'm suffering. I'm going inside out day 2. I'm gonna fucking stretch this out as long as I can.
It was your crow in a
I get
jar.
home.
oh,
It
mate.
was your version of Slipknot's crow in the jar.
Mate, I
Sniffing
would
it.
have just
Sniffing it
had a
before each
wash them
set.
washed them in the
Yeah.
bathroom, mate. Washed them in the bathroom and just had a free ball day and let them dry.
Yeah, 100%, man. You know,
Wow.
it wasn't actually that bad.
Hey, look, you know, we're guys. It's anything after 3 days, you start it's really step into sketchy territory because you can have the inside out. So there's 2 days, and you could probably get a second day out of the inside out. You know,
what you really need to do now, though, is you need to take one of the pairs you've been given or that for Father's Day, and pop it in your base bag. Pop it in your the case that your base is in. So that way you've always got a spare set when you're off on the road, right? You've at least got that to look after yourself. So you got to think work smarter, not harder. That's that
thing all the
right,
mums used
man.
to say? You always got to make sure you go out and clean undies just in case you get hit by a bus. Which never makes sense because when you die, you poop yourself anyway.
Yeah, well, you know, speaking of being hit by a bus, man, your music hits very fucking hard. I gotta say, been enjoying that all week. Very much enjoying the kind of like the thrashy machine head kind of vibes coming through with it. Like very, very, you know, like it's the right music for the right vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And we do get the machine head comparison a bit here and there, like the vocal, and even more so on the new album, actually. Like the more I'm hearing back the newer pre-production, I'm like, man, I can hear so much of Rob Flynn just sneaking through. So yeah, it's funny you say that, man.
And in the riffage as well, like some of the riffing itself is very like I kind of wasn't really that into Machine Head for a while, but when they dropped the Blackening, I kind of got converted by that one. And I'm hearing a lot of that influence from that album in some of the riffs that you guys I'm hearing in your guys' stuff. So I really, really dig it. Huge sound for like a 3-piece, right? Because you guys are a 3-piece, is it, or 4?
3-piece.
3-piece.
Mm-hmm.
They're hiding people in the back.
It sounds
We're gonna go
monstrous.
backstage, just fucking amp plugged in, and he's just drunk and strumming along occasionally with some rhythm, like, fucking, you know, that's how it is.
So that's what happens when I black out.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's actually really easy live now because Phil's got I don't want to go too techie with this because I play bass after all.
He's the
but
dude.
you know, he's the dude. He's got the splitter left and right signal now, and his new digital pedal. And then so when we play live, we've got a sound guy with us on the road for the first time, which is killer to have him. So we are, you know, you could say we have a hidden fourth member in the band now. So he'll be at Metal to the Max, and he'll split the signal left and right. So it will sound like there's actually, 2 guitars, which is something we've always wanted to sort of emulate from the album, which we haven't been able to do live. So
is he able to, with those signals, I don't know these things. Is he able to like change his guitar tones from his left and his right signals?
Yeah.
So he can actually
really
feel out the sound. Wow.
So those models, those modelers, a lot of the fancier ones, you can have stereo chain, and you can do different amps in the chain, or you can even if you're not doing it in the box, if you got left and right, you can send them to different amps, and you get different sounds out of it. It just creates a fuller, thicker sound.
That's mad.
Yeah,
that's mad.
It's
look at
amazing
that.
what you can do now, man. Like festivals don't even have cabs anymore. It's all backstage. All you can hear now is the kit.
Yep.
That's it.
Well, it's like that really
kit.
unfortunate thing when you tell a diehard Slayer fan that they're only actually mic'd up to one of those wall of amps and only one.
Yeah, that's right.
No, it doesn't. They're all plugged in. It's like,
Yeah,
bro, you would like, do you know the amount of juice that would suck out of the grid? Like you would power down the whole stadium.
Yeah.
After the first riff.
But no, I'm very much the same. Like I run my for the most part, I tend not to run a bass amp anymore. I tend to run mine straight in. Like I've got a dark glass Atom pedal that I'm using there. So that's Nolly's one that he did with the dark glass crew, and the amp sims in that are really tasty, and I can just run straight into a PA system and gets a really, really big sound straight through that. I mean, the only real problem is, sometimes depending on speaker placement, the people that are right at the very, very front might not get as much sound because they're almost, they're kind of in front of they're kind of like the speaker cone kind of goes behind them in terms of where it's directing stuff. And that's, I guess, where you run into the problem if you don't have amps on stage. But if you're out there touring now, you can get away with not having if you've got the right tools, you can get away with not having amps.
But even venues,
on stage.
Is there a way that you can actually plug in those foot pedal, like how you got those? Now you can run basically a whole amp thing through a foot pedal and you just plug it. Is there a way that you could run that?
Do now, man.
Is there a way that you could run that into a head?
Yeah, you can still run that into an amp if you want. So but just to have basically that's like just for on stage sound more than anything else.
No. But could you potentially, if you had the head and the cab, you could just run that the same sort of way? Because I seem to be finding the constant thing that keeps on getting run into. I don't know. Like I'm only noticing this for smaller venues that there's just as soon as there's that digital thing, it just throws a massive spanner in the works for everything. If a venue doesn't have that capability. But most venues now have a backline that they provide. So it almost seems
that's
like,
always nice.
Would it be a thing of could they run those?
You can. You absolutely can.
Straight through the heads, and that way you don't have to worry about it. Like everything's mic'd up already. Okay.
So Kyle, for the Nuclear Vision setup, what we do, Kyle, is we've got guitar and bass going into our stage box, but those go through a DI. First. And so that DI allows us to take a split of the signal and send that to an amp as well if we wanted to do that. Yeah, of course.
Okay, sweet.
And we're getting into some of the technical stuff.
No, but this is the thing, everyone just thinks you get up there and play, but there's a lot of this is the reason why musicians need to get paid is because they got to fucking pay to maintain shit like this. And
that's it. I mean, gear ain't cheap these days.
Yeah, especially when you have gas.
Yeah.
This is my pedal board.
Oh, very nice. Oh, yep. The Digitech drop. Perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's a bit hard to see because it might be blurring the background, but
no, but that's and that all goes through into that DI box.
So this pedal here, the B7K, there we go, B7K, which is similar to what you were saying before there, mate. It's very similar. I've got a DI output on this, so if there's no cab, there's no bass cab, which I prefer to have only because, do you know, honestly, man, because I'm deaf in my left ear, I've been born deaf. I like to have a cab there. It's more so I can feel it more than anything, and just a bit of on stage sound because I find bass. I don't know what you think, bro, but I find bass sounds shit through a foldback. I just don't think foldback speakers are designed for bass.
Oh, definitely.
And that's what I prefer to have that down and have the cab behind me because that cab is designed for bass.
Yeah, yeah. So and look, we run an IEM system anyway, so for Nuclear Vision, so we kind of don't really utilize the on-stage sound at all. Like our stages are generally fairly quiet because we're running everything through our stage box and through our IEMs. So like it all just goes straight to our ears from that, like, which makes it a lot easier. Like sound guys don't have to worry about feedback from on stage nearly as much as they do without it. They're not trying to control the bleed from guitar amps into the drum mics and all that sort of shit. So it generally makes for a much cleaner sound, we find, but obviously it's a bit of a setup to try and drag around everywhere. So
Yeah, I think for thrash metal, like the stuff we play, and I do a Motorhead tribute as well. We've got to have cabs. I just reckon cab
you can't.
I don't think we can get around it. I think we can get
yeah.
around with maybe just having a bass cab, but I still think guitar. We're just that kind of band.
Yeah,
we need to have.
There's a
cabs,
vibe. There's something to be said for a vibe around all that too. You know, like it's.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and everyone's going to have different preferences. Yeah.
Yes, if you're doing a tribute thing, you're not doing much of a tribute if you're not going to have big Marshall plexis up there and like you got those big Marshall cabs and shit like that for a Motorhead show. Like
like you're doing Motorhead, you need to have the you need to have the
it's like
you need to have the Murder one up there and everything. So
yeah.
Oh, if I got a Ford one, I've got a pedal that sounds like identical to it in its closest form, which is killer. It's called Motor Bass pedal from Germany. It's pretty close, but the actual Motorhead one heads are like you're looking at $8,000 to $10,000. One guy I know in Melbourne's got it, and I'm like, give it to me. I'll give you a payment plan, $50 a week, mate.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I won't bore you too much. But yeah, we got the drop down pedal for some of the lower tune stuff that we do. You can just go boom, chuck that on. That's ready to go. This is just so I can switch between clean and dirty for distortion on bass. Because live, I've actually toned down the distortion a bit so that the bass is clearer, so it's acts as more of a rhythm section now. And this is just a really DIY. A mate of mine made it for me. It's a noise gate pedal, and then this is a wireless system. So it's pretty straightforward.
Awesome.
Power supply.
Yeah, I've got the Digitech the bass whammy. So the blue the blue whammy I've picked up one of those. It's man, like I'm not gonna they're nothing to fuck with. Like those Digitech pedal cases are like tough as nails. They're really hard like metal casings on them. They're tough as shit. They'll survive basically a nuclear bomb at this point, it feels like.
Dude, that pedal is bulletproof. Like I've taken that everywhere with me around Europe and US and everything, and I've had to detach it a couple of times for travel and stuff, and it's been great. And I had it first because Phil didn't want to. He was taking two guitars and switching on stage between that, and I found it to be a bit of a buzz killer live. Like when you change over your guitars, unless you've got a really good backing track and everything is programmed in nicely, it can get a bit like for a band of our kind of level. I feel like we need to just keep the momentum going. Yeah. Finally I got him to try this because I was using it and he wasn't, and he was like, dude, this is pretty close. Like the drop tune stuff, it's pretty close to actually having another guitar in that tuning. Like it's not, and especially in a live setting where you don't need to be that precise,
Yeah. Well, it works really handy for bass as well, I guess, because you're playing more single notes as well. So you can kind of get away for a lot of the time anyway. For bass, you tend to be playing more single notes, so it's a bit easier to get away with it. But those Digitech drops are like everyone who's anyone's using them a lot of the time now. If they're not got like the big like the Line 6 Helix or the Kempers and stuff like that, in terms of an actual standalone pedal, that's probably the drop pedal that it's the way to go because it's just such a standard.
Well, that Fender one, the one that Fender brought out, the pedal that they brought out a digital.
Yeah, they basically to challenge like quad, the Kempers and the quad core things and the Helix. Yeah, yeah. So that's been pretty good, but that's awesome. And like, I'm digging that rig. Like I've tried to minimize mine as much as I can, man. Like I hate fucking around with so many different pedals and. I'm even looking at. 100%. I mean, I've got like I said, I've got the Digitech whammy on there for a couple of things, but even then, I'm like, do I really need that to be on there all that much? How much am I actually getting out of it? I've got a wah pedal on there as well, but again, it's more on there for playing around. I don't use it all that much, so I'm just sort of looking at it, going, how do I really need all that, or should I just downsize it and just go with?
There's going to be a day, Raff, where Brad turns to you and goes, check out my main man Raff and look at his little bass solo, and you're going to go, don't have my fucking whammy. Took it off, don't have my whammy. All right? Yeah. All right? You look, if you have it.
There's a reason I don't bass solo. because I am the world's okayest bass player. Is the reason. Now I want to getting back to talking about hidden intent there. Now you mentioned there was mention of new material that you guys are working on. What can you tell us about that?
Dude, I was just having this conversation last night. Can you guys still hear me okay? I've just swapped the microphone, so it's all right. Yeah, awesome. Last night I was just having a chat about this because it was my birthday on Monday and we were going out for some drinks.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Cheers, boys. Get a dog up here, mate. Nah.
Cheers.
Yeah, I was just
and he drinks fire too. Oh, what are you on? You're on the Pirate Life XPA?
I'm on a Pirate Life South Coast because it's Sunday and it's just cruisy, it's sort of like
I'm on the what am I on? I'm on the Fox Hat metric IPAs.
Fox Hat, yeah. I know the brewer, one of the brewers there actually.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Get me an interview with him for my other channel.
I can if you want, man.
Please, please.
He's a sound engineer as well.
Sweet little double header. Mad.
Yeah, he used to work at Brew Boys in Croydon, and then they sold the business, and he moved over to Fox Hat. So
where are they located?
Yeah,
where's Fox Hat located?
Somewhere in SA. I don't know. I haven't actually been there. I feel bad because he works there. I might probably should have been there by now. But they were at Beer and Barbecue. You sort of see him there anyway,
Yeah.
But yeah, I can hook you up. But yeah, back to the music. Yeah, it's just a little bit more, so still hidden intent, but a little bit of a wider palette, a little bit heavier. There's some really heavy stuff on there that, we've gone a lot lower tunings and still thrashy, but a darker element overall. I think there's probably due to that is in the band, we've experienced a bit of loss in the last year. So we're probably, generally a little bit, angrier and frustrated with the world, so to speak. So that's probably coming out a bit more in our music, and then just wanting to challenge ourselves a little bit, still please the typical hidden intent fan, but just sort of widen the scope a little bit and just get a little bit more crew in from here and there that might be like, oh, I didn't think hidden intent could be that heavy. That's kind of like where we're going with this one. Yeah. Definitely vocally as well. Over the last year, I've been really trying to see different vocal instructors. So one that was helping me out with some heavier stuff, and then one helping me out with cleaner stuff. So then just trying to up that a little bit more as well. So yeah, some pretty full on stuff, man. Definitely. I don't know if you guys have heard the band Onslaught, some of their latest material. It's probably what we're using is a bit of a template as well, a heavier direction overall. There's some more melodic stuff on there too. So I'm really excited for this one, man. It's going to be sick.
It's good that you're sort of sticking to the formula and said that you're trying to branch out a little bit more because you never want to. Yes, you want to please the fans, but you want to be able to expand yourself as musicians as well. Otherwise, you just get stuck.
100%.
It turns into a wheel. Yes, you're pleasing the fans and everyone's happy, but are you deep down in yourself happy? Like, I could have done this, I could have done that. We didn't try this, we didn't try that.
Yeah. And the first time ever, we're actually we've got a pre-production Google Drive folder and we all got our own recording devices at home. So we're just, although it's been a bit slower in that way, we've actually just been uploading stuff. We've been uploading, just uploading our own tracks and going, hey guys, what do you think of this? I tried this vocal thing, or I tried this bass thing, and it's just been a collaborative process. Normally we kind of jam it out old school, then get in the studio and make changes while we're in there and kind of waste a bit of time. But this time it's going to be a lot more streamlined. We're just going to go in there, know exactly what we're doing, no mucking around, and make a few little adjustments. So
that's awesome, though.
Do you reckon that's come from your experience being in the studio and now walking out and realizing all this work that you can get done on the front end before you walk into the studio is going to streamline the whole process moving forward, especially when because we talk about this so much. A band will get so humbled the first time they go in and work with a producer because you think you are red hot, you think you are on fire, and you send all your stuff to a producer and you realize you got a lot of stuff to work on writing wise, the way you approach your writing towards a song. So it's really interesting that you say that now going back, you're sort of approaching it from the front end a bit different. That's awesome.
Yeah, we just wanted to get the songs up to a certain baseline where they're ready to record, but make little adjustments. Whereas before we were going in and we were trying to do big adjustments while we're in the studio, and I just don't think that's worked for us. It's better to have. We're not Queen where we have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of studio time. It's like
And
we've just
time
got
is
to get
money.
in there and do it exactly, and make little adjustments. Yeah, you want to capture those moments where you go, you're just in a moment and you try something different. You go, yeah, that's it. We've done that heaps of times where we've had even with Breaking Point, the song Breaking Point was a funny one. Like we recorded that, and the computer had a malfunction, and it kind of recorded it and changed the timing of the vocals. And then we went, nah, that sounds sick. Play that again. And that's the way the chorus is now that you hear.
Oh, wow.
It was just
happy accident.
Yeah,
complete
happy accidents.
happy accident, man. It was just like, and then I was listening to it, and that phrasing is really catchy. It's going to be hard to pull it off live, like singing and playing, but it's really catchy. So a lot of things like that have happened. Where we've had a producer as well. We're trying to nail a chorus, and the producer's like, "What about if I move this vocal line here? What do you guys think of this?" Boom, and we're like, "Oh, that's perfect."
Yeah.
But sometimes those little things just make a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's like even when Lamb
it's-
of God, Randy Blythe did that whole thing before, like he just went running.
Yeah, for
Before
the
he just ran.
the
for
guy
like
made him
20
do laps around the block before he came in and recorded
and
some
then
stuff.
made him record the song right after he's done the run.
Wow.
Yeah,
just so he could just
the
get that
sacrament.
like
For Sacrament,
Yeah.
he had him a couple of parts on Sacrament. Yeah, he had him like run around the block of like half a dozen times, and then straight into the studio, grab the mic as he's running in, and record it as he's all breathless, like out of everything to get the right energy on it.
the vibe.
Yeah, nice.
I feel like I'd love to work with a producer that thinks outside the box like that and can bring that sort of stuff out of you, because that's so. Like as a band, it's very easy to get insular about your own stuff. Like Kyle said, you can you kind of don't always have, you don't always approach it from that that producer mindset, which is, I guess, if you've got someone like you said, you're doing a lot of production stuff yourself as well. It helps to be able to be in that producer mindset throughout the pre-production process as well. Because you can think a lot of like a producer would think about it. You can approach it from that angle and workshop it, but it's always such a fine line, I find, between you want to have the material and workshop it for a long enough that you feel you've had a good chance to tease out any of these little ideas that might pop up and that you might want to try. But you don't want to have the songs and just workshop them for so long that you're sick to death of them by the time it comes to recording them, because then you won't have the passion in the studio for them, and that shows. I think it can come through. So it's such a fine line between those two stages, I think, that and it's the kind of thing that you really only know after it's too late to change anything, right? Like if you've gone too far with it, there's no going back.
Yeah, but then that's when a lot of people, especially when you get stuck in that whole doing it at home thing, you overwrite, and like it's just the whole thing of letting sleeping dogs lie. Once you're happy with it, like if you once it's recorded and comes back to you, if there are any parts you aren't happy with, that's just motivation to change the way you do it on the next one. You should never be dwelling. Like, you can't change it. The art's out there. That's what I love about art. Once it's done, it's done. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and you could sit there critiquing it all day if you wanted to, but then you'll never actually get anything out. And with COVID, with Dead End Destiny, our last album, that was the thing. We didn't really get to road test the songs. So that would have been cool to have that experience, because with our new album, we've road tested one song from so far, and already we're just like, yeah, sick, this is going down really well. We can see that the audience are digging it, that kind of thing. It's good to have that before you go in the studio, and you can make those little changes.
Yeah.
Quality control. So, that's the best part of quality control for any band, is playing your new shit at a show first before you even think about putting any other effort into it.
Is there going to be any more new ones being busted out at Metal to the Max?
Maybe two. Like, we've got one we've been doing live for a while now that we still haven't recorded, but we're in the studio end of next month, the end of September, laying down the drums. But then, yeah, maybe one more new one potentially. See how we go, mate.
Cool. Well, it's a lot of people that we've been talking to. They're trying to find little ways to really make the Metal to the Max show that much more special. Because, it's a lot of people traveling a long way, and I think everyone wants to really make it, really wants to make it worthwhile for the people that are the punters that are coming out for it, because it's such a long way to travel. My fucking God, it's.
I was just thinking that, when you're saying that, a few of my mates are like, man, I want to go, but it's just that little bit too far. I'm like, man, it's you're not going. The event's killer and the bands are awesome, but it's actually an experience. Like,
well, that's it.
This is what you're going for.
We got Anton Amasia, one of the bands that's playing from Sydney. They're coordinating like a little a hire bus for a bunch of. They're like, look, we're basically giving away 15 spots on this hire bus. If you're from Sydney and you've got a ticket and you want to come on the bus, give us your details, and we'll, if we get more than 15 people, we'll draw the names out of a hat, and y'all can travel on the bus as part of this thing.
Well, the only requirement is that you have your ticket before you enter.
Yeah, you just have to have a ticket to the event, and be at whatever place that they're leaving from, and be able to get there and get home, and from there after the whole, when they drop you back off there at the end of it. So it's
it's going to be the most least effort cosplay that you're ever going to have to be in. Like, this is going to be like, it's going to look like Mad Max. Like, it's just going to be
busloads of people showing up and cards and everything. It's going to be such a time. Like, I mean, I've got, I'm flying down from Brisbane to Sydney on the Thursday, and then Kyle and myself are taking off from Sydney late Thursday night, early Friday morning. Going to make the drive out. So it's going to be quite a lot of travel for us.
It's going to be fun.
It will be. It'll be fun.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of behind the scenes
stuff. Yeah, I played. I played Broken Hill a couple of times, and it's always been pretty loose. So we played a lot. Yeah, it's always been a good time, man. And they they're so into it, and I think it's because there's that lack of those sort of bands coming through, and when they do get those sorts of metal bands coming through or whatnot, they just lap it up. It's like. Just fulfilling this need that they've had. I want to go see a band, but I've got to travel to Sydney, or I've got to travel to Adelaide or whatever it is, and then they're coming there. It'll just go off, I reckon. Like, whoever's there will be going hard, I reckon, for this. And you got people from Mildura coming, and all sorts of places.
Well, that's one thing I'm really looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to meeting some of the locals that are there, meeting some of the out-of-towners, how far people have travelled. Like, it's going to be such an experience for everyone. Yeah, my head's going to explode when I'm there. I know it. I'm so excited. I'm just going to be overstimulated. My head's just going to pop straight up its shoulders.
And I mean, we've been talking to so many bands about it over the last while. By the time this comes out, it'll be only a couple of weeks away, and like we're ready. We're ready. We've spent so much time talking about. We just want it to be here. We just want it to be here now, and I'm not one to like wish my life away or anything, but like, it's getting close and it's getting on the horizon. I can, you can start seeing the smoke and from the war party on the horizon, and it's just like,
you can taste it.
Yeah, you can smell the petrol in the air, and you're ready to
dirt, taste that desert air. Smell the camels.
It's gonna be hell of a time. Like, and we're loading up with so much equipment for this one. We've put a lot of money into expanding our capabilities for our coverage of the event. So, we're hoping that pays off, and we can get lots of cool stuff with all the bands and the punters and everything out there throughout the weekend. If we don't,
we'll just get some banging footage. Like, geez, it's just going to be so scenic and stuff like that. And that's the thing, like a concept like this, it just deserves so much more attention than what we can give it in the run up to it. And we've pretty much dedicated our fucking lives to this at the moment. It's pretty much what we eat, live, and breathe it. I think as much as what Ash do. I don't think as much like anywhere near on par, but yeah. Is there anything special you guys are doing for the event?
Well, we sometimes whip out, and we definitely will for this show because I think it's the right vibe to do it. Sometimes in the festival kind of gigs, we'll get a off Amazon. I got a $50 drop bear costume. So what I have to do is I pick a fan or someone in the audience that we know to say, hey man, do you want to play drop bear during the middle part of Drop Bear Zarul? Just come out because we do this airborne thing. We kind of stole from airborne. We just some open chugs, and then I start drinking a beer and start saying like, get a dog up, yeah, fuck yeah, cunts, cheers Ash or whatever. And then the drop bear comes out and this huge drop bear suit. It's like you put it on and you press it and it blows up. It's one of those, big inflatable ones. And he comes out, and then we go into that middle section, and then he jumps into the crowd. But last time my mate did it, he jumped in the crowd, but he busted his foot on the rail.
Oh no!
We've got the footage of it. It's hilarious. You can just see. I want to add a little like sound effect where he hits the rail, like. He like goes into the crowd, like stacks it into the crowd, and then they do like a little crowd surf all the way back. So we'll do that. Maybe some like drinking. I was thinking some sort of sculling competition might be cool in the middle of a song as well because it's Broken Hill. It's a bit loose, I'm sure we could get away with that too.
We'll have to.
I cannot be within 5 feet of that stage.
Yeah, because he'll be out going hard on it. Well, you're gonna have to watch out because there's gonna be Super Dead's gonna be running around too. The Suffer the Avenue boys, I think it is, are gonna have Super Dead. So
can we please?
There's gonna have to be a showdown.
The Teddy and the Drop Bear fight.
Yeah, a showdown between Super Dead and the Drop Bear.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They've got that other mascot. Yeah.
You know what you should do? You should start the rivalry now. Start pumping everyone up. Tell them the Drop Bear's online.
Yeah,
that could work actually, because there's a part in one of our songs where I always try and get a wall of death going in a place of horror. It's in the middle. It's in right at the start. Like, you can't sit over there. You can't sit over there. When I say go, you fucking run into each other, and then like.
The Drop Bear.
We'll have to have a circle pit.
Could do like a drop bear and that.
Or get like a circle pit going around them while they're like,
that could be cool.
They could just be at either end. They could just run either end.
Lead the charge on the wall of death.
Lead the charge.
Yeah. Stuff like that's really cool. I reckon that'll amp it up a bit. So a bit of a party. We're the party Aussie thrash band. That's what people know us as. So we'll happily take that.
Well, that is the greatest sentence I think I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Yeah.
Aussie party thrash band. I'm fucking down. I have a tattoo of a koala drinking a VB and smoking a joint in red thongs on my leg. So I'm a
really?
I do.
Oh. That's cool. I've just got a drop bear on me, our little mascot drop bear. I've got that.
Yeah, I love koalas. They're so cool.
Yeah, we just never thought that was going to be a big thing. Like when we wrote that song, we wrote it to our friends Lich King that we went on tour with, another crossover band, and we because they asked us if drop bears were real, and we had them go on for a while, and then we thought, fuck, we should write a song and like kind of write it in the way they would write a song, so a little bit more crossover, stompy riffs, and we came up with that song, and we just did the shirt for it, and I never thought that would be our mascot. I just thought we would write that song. Piss take, that'd be it. But now that's what people know us as being this. We got labeled pub thrash tycoons.
Yes,
pub thrash. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah,
we invented it apparently. So
I am here for it. I'm on board.
But we talk about it like all the time. Like some of the best, most fun elements of things come out of a throwaway gag. Like you'll do you'll do something last minute, or you'll just be like, oh yeah, we'll do this as a silly thing in a film clip or whatever, and it just gets it just takes off. It just sticks with people, and all of a sudden, hey, great, you've got something for people to really latch onto and really remember you by, and it just creates that point of difference from the other bands on the bill, and helps you to stick in their mind a little more than maybe it would otherwise, and. Not that you're like relying on that necessarily, but it always helps. We talk about this endlessly. Like there's any given weekend, there's 1,000 gigs you can go to where you can see good metal bands. Like how are you going to differentiate yourself from that? And it's very, very important to understand that. And everyone's going to have a different way of wanting to do it. and that's fine. But it's great that you guys were able to stumble onto something that is, you know, a little bit fun and fits with your vibe, and that you guys all enjoy. And you know, like you say, you can kind of you know, rib on the tourists. You know, any touring bands that you might be going out there with, you can kind of put, you know, jokes on them. Like, yeah, we bring out a real drop bear during our set. What, really? You bring out a drop bear? And then it's just the costume, right?
That's where you're like, well, we're going to split a wall of death, and that's where everyone knows to stand back, and that's when we drop the drop bear right in the middle.
Yeah, those little memorable things, you know, like I was, with Airborne was one thing I used to watch when I remember watching them. One thing they always used to do at festivals, and it really stuck in my mind. I'm definitely not going to do this, by the way. They, the singer would go up and climb one of the towers where the PA speaker was on.
Yep.
And he'd climb up with his guitar. I don't know if you guys remember that with Airborne. And Joel, he'd get up there and like
they get loose.
And he'd start playing. And he'd hit the guitar on his back. And then he'd go up and start playing. Yeah. He'd be like singing. It's like, what the fuck? It was crazy to watch. And then he would jump in the audience, I think. Maybe.
I don't listen to much Airborne, but every time I've seen them live, I have just been floored. And they're so good.
And that's the thing, like,
incredible.
Raff is so on, like, you know, if you're not going to do the thing where you're going to like either do the face paint or the mask or do that theatric stuff, it's kind of like you have to sort of have that fun gimmick to lean into. If you're just going to, like, there's got to be that extra.
You got make it fun, make it memorable, and just do something that not everyone else is doing.
What I love about your one is, though, even if you take that overseas, it's like, where are these guys from? And the inflatable drop bear comes out, Australia.
That's right.
Straight away. I've just had this like lightning fucking, you know, idea. Obviously we're going to be doing a lot of B-roll coverage, a lot of extra little video stuff around the whole weekend. I feel like we need to do, interspersed amongst that, we need to have a few David Attenborough style segments of like, you know, documentary on the drop bear, like around the site somehow. Like,
here we have a drop bear in a natural environment.
It's unusual to see a drop bear in such an arid environment, but you know, there's enough of a beer supply that they've come out for the thing. You know, just some stupid something like that. I think needs to.
As soon as it starts talking to a girl, he's trying to mate. Trying to find a mate.
Yeah.
He inflates himself larger to appear bigger to the opposite sex.
Yeah, we might have to borrow your drop bear for a little bit on the weekend, I think.
Mate, do it.
So, well, you mentioned there, like, you have toured with, you know, done some you know, tours with some, you know, some notable bands here. I mean, you know, you got like Flotsam and Jetsam, Iron Angel, you mentioned Lich King there. Like, these are names that have been, you know, they're quite notable in the thrash scene. How has it been for you guys sort of doing that with those bands? How have you found them to work with? Like, how's that been for you guys?
Awesome. Like, I haven't shared any bad experiences really, apart from, you know, just people after a while on the road, you know, they might get tired or like a little bit grumpy, missing home and those sorts of things. But most bands we've worked with have been awesome. Sepultura last year was probably one of our biggest highlights. You know, like going on tour with them, that was fucking awesome, man. And that came up really last minute as well. We were hoping just to get the Adelaide show. And I mentioned doing the whole tour, and then we got an email and it was like, yeah, do you want to do the whole tour? This is the deal. And I'm like, yeah, sick, let's do it. So we ended up doing 3 or 4 shows with them around the country, the Good Things slideshows.
Nice.
So that was wicked. Yeah, it was sick. And we didn't really get to hang out with them much until the last show. They went pretty hard. And we got to hang out with them backstage. And I'm like, man, I used to play, I still do occasionally play in a Sepultura tribute, you know, and I'm now toured with Sepultura. Like, that's unbelievable.
I mean, I got to admit, like, I really for a long time was sleeping on post Cavalera era Sepultura, to my own detriment. Like, you know, finally getting off my ass and looking into that, the more recent stuff from them, the more, you know, I say more recent, like it's been a long time that they've been without Max, but like
It's recent to me, God damn it.
It's yeah. So, look, it's to me, chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water only dropped a couple of years ago, right? Like this
Fucking
is
oath
still
it
a
did.
thing, but no, like it's like this. People get really like, oh, it's not Sepultura if it doesn't have Max. I'm like, fucking bullshit. Like that lineup
man.
those guys have done such an amazing job carrying on the legacy of that band, and they've been.
There's a reason why they're still fucking touring.
I mean, hasn't it been like longer without Max Cavalera or something?
It has, man. And Eloy, the drummer they had on that tour, who's now in Slipknot. Right. Whoa. We'll just do this as a dude. We're just hanging out with backstage. He does so much justice to not saying Igor's obviously amazing, got those iconic feels and all that, but Eloy just is an absolute. If you see this guy play live, he is an absolute powerhouse.
Fortunate enough to catch him
the drums.
I caught him at Brisbane at Good Things, and I was just I was blown away. Just so blown away by it. Like everything that those guys brought to the table was incredible. Like, and for anyone that wants to doubt the credibility or legitimacy of post Max Cavalera Sepultura, just like you're doing yourself a disservice by not letting yourself enjoy it. You know, you don't need to suck Max's dick. He's not going to come to your house and like cook you fucking breakfast just because you were like, no, it's not Sepultura without Max Cavalera. He's fucking, you know. You don't need to do that. Like, they're doing their thing. Sepultura did their thing for a long time. Like, yeah. And I mean, what? Andreas is just like doing such incredible guitar work as well. You know, with throughout the years with them too. Like, I just, they're such an amazing band, and you know, the Cavaliers are going doing their own thing, but Sepultura continued on doing such great work for so long. And they just, I feel like they never really got the props they deserved because everyone was just so focused on Max, you know?
Yeah, exactly, man. And now, like you said, Cavalier are doing their thing with Schizophrenia, and they're bringing those albums back to life. And I think that's awesome that they're doing that and doing their own thing. But I think where probably people really get a little bit butthurt over is the fact that all the Sepultura original lineup could actually happen. They're all still alive. I think that's why people do rage a bit harder on that, is because they're all actually still alive, well in the industry. It could definitely happen. There's no reason why it couldn't. So whereas, you know, you look at the new Pantera, it's just not possible to have Dime back in there. You know what I mean? It's just not possible. So this is what we've got, you know, which is still amazing, and I'm so grateful of that as well. But yeah, with Sepultura, you could actually get those 4 original dudes back up there.
But I mean, that takes away from all the hard work that the new members have done and stuff like that as well.
I agree.
And you know what I mean?
Derek's just.
And the funny thing is, though, with like, I mean, you mentioned Pantera there. There's a lot of people that say Pantera shouldn't continue on because, you know, or they shouldn't call it Pantera because it's only, you know, because it doesn't have the Abbots in it anymore. And there's just as many people saying that you know, they should, if they want to get back together and do music, fine, and play those songs, fine, but like do it as part of a new project or a different.
Yeah,
thing.
but then everyone's going to get butthurt. It's like, you play a Pantera song.
It's like there's too many people there's too many people that are going to be shitty regardless of what you do. So you just do what you want to do.
Yeah, that was your opportunity. That was your opportunity to see Phil, and probably the last time you're ever going to see those Pantera songs get played. You either went or you didn't. And yeah, to be fair, I could not see more of a fitting person than Dimebag's best friend to be playing his songs. I don't understand
100%.
why people would. Like, I would want nothing. Like, if anything happened to me and someone decided to redo my, like, if it was a friend of mine, I would have no issue whatsoever.
Continue the legacy.
And you know, I mean, it's very unfortunate what happened at the Brisbane show with the sound and everything that going the way it did.
I saw that. I went to the Melbourne and Adelaide one, so
I was there. It sucked a lot of energy out of the room when their sound went out, and then they just had sound issues for the rest of the night of the set, which really, really dampened things for a lot of people, myself included. Like I really felt like I was, you know, I really didn't feel like I got the performance that I was expecting to get, and that you know, that the fans really deserved. Well, I I don't say that to criticize the performers. The people, you know, the guys on the stage were doing a great job with it. It's just the sound issues really sort of sucked a lot of the energy out, you know, for a lot of people, I think, at the Brisbane show. Because I heard such good things about Melbourne and Sydney beforehand. So, you know, it is what it is. So who were, obviously, you know, this Metal to the Max lineup is absolutely stacked, right? Like the list of bands on here is just crazy. What bands on there are you most looking forward to seeing? Is there bands on there that you maybe haven't played with that you're looking forward to playing with? Who are you most excited to be you know, involved with this this show?
Probably obviously a lot of the bands we've played with at other festivals. So it's kind of like, and there's a lot of SA bands on there too, which is cool.
I'm stoked for that. I'm stoked for that.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of Heavy SA, a little bit kind of lineup. It's got a bit of Church of Steel vibe in there as well. It's got a few different things going on. So for me, it's just like, there's not really too many bands I haven't seen on there, but I'm looking forward to seeing how they've progressed in that time. Because a lot of them have been doing a lot of huge, you know, big tours since then. So it's like really cool to see, you know, bands like Sundowner, Harlot, getting to see what they've been up to. Firestorm getting back from doing that big run they did. Just seeing how they've progressed for me will be really cool on a big stage, you know, with good production and all that, and seeing them interstate, seeing how they go interstate, some of the bands on a festival like that will be cool, because I'm used to seeing some of the Adelaide bands back at home at the Cranker or somewhere a bit more small. So for me, that I'm looking forward to that aspect of Orpheus Omega. I know they've been doing a lot of big things in that time as well. So yeah, keen as, man.
Awesome. Are you are you familiar with Flaming Wreckage?
Yes, I am with Buppo and the guys.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, they seem like the kind of band that you'd really be into. Like, if you weren't familiar with them, I was going to say you're going to get fucking floored by those guys, because we I'll
link you now. Boom.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Like, Kyle, you know, I mean, I live in Brisbane now, but I used to live down in Sydney, and Kyle and I were you know, we were around the circuits when Flaming Wreckage was starting out, when they were coming up in the scene. And yeah, we cannot say enough good things about that crew. Like, as a band, they're incredible. They're such nice dudes. So, like, yeah, we're excited for a lot of people to experience them for the first time, which is, you know, I can't wait. You know, they're gonna have such good fun with it. And from what we hear, the stage is going to be quite big, so everyone's going to have lots of room to run around, which will be nice.
Yeah, that'll be cool, because I'm always like, you know, playing a festival stage is so much different to, you know, playing at the local bar. You've really got to work that stage, and you've really got to move around so much more and really work it. So yeah, luckily I've got my guitarist that he's free reign. I've got to do the Lemmy thing a bit more, and I can move around a little bit, but he's got the free reign and can move around, and he does a really good job of that. So
he's going to have his work cut out for him. He is absolutely going to have his work cut out for him. He's going to need be a good cardio sesh for him running back and forth on that stage by the time the set's done, I think.
Yeah,
did you hear how big it was?
No, I haven't actually.
From what Ash has told us, he's landed a 9x9 stage.
Doesn't surprise me with those guys, man. They are the biggest gear tech guys. Him and Tomo are like talking to me about some of the stuff. I'm like, man, it's the first one, man. Just keep it, you know, easy, Tiger. But they're just like, no, we're going to go all out. We're going to have this. And I'm like, man, if you've got cash to burn,
look, sure. Yeah, if you can make it happen, then cool. Like, let's do it.
You know? I'm just playing, you know, like, it's all good. But yeah, I hope it works out for them, and I hope they can continue it. Is probably right.
Absolutely,
they will.
We'd love for there to be, you know, many more of this. Like, it's the kind of event, like we've said on previous episodes, where you can just see it becoming a regular thing, and, you know, the reputation growing over the years. And after this first one goes hopefully really, really well, I don't know if, you know, if mythology of it's the right word, but like the aura of it kind of grows, and word spreads. Like, when it gets announced next year, people will kind of be jumping on it a lot quicker. And, you know, all the bands, a lot of the people that go as bands this year are probably going to want to attend next year as patrons, you know, because they've just had such a good time. out there with this year. So if they're not playing it next year, I feel like you're going to get a lot of people attending next year just because they want to be there rather than you know. So,
well, that's the big thing. It's like the aim for any festival sort of thing that you put on is when you announce it that the thing sells out before the actual event. Like you got those numbers locked in. Do you know what I mean? And that is what I'm hoping for next year, is that once this thing gets announced, it's just like the tickets just get snapped up so fast that it's not even a worry in the back of Ash's mind about what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? It's like everything's sorted. Now the rest of my time and effort can be put into putting on one hell of a sick show for everyone. The budget's there. It's everything sorted.
Yeah, man. No, I hope it goes well, and I reckon it will be an absolute cracker. And I was funny you say that before, because I was supposed to go as a my partner actually booked accommodation stuff, thinking that we weren't playing and that we could just have a weekend. I'm like, oh nah, babe, I'm playing, but and she didn't know. And I was like, I told you about it a while ago, and she goes, oh, I must have just missed it in a message. So now, now she's going. I think some little ones are pretty welcome there. It's pretty kid friendly. So
it is very cool. All ages, as long as they've got a parent or guardian there. So that'll be
cool.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. Like it's like we're
you don't
really...
have to camp.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sorted in that respect. So yeah, no, it should be cool. She's never seen me play, and because we're playing this first, it will be cool. My little one should be able to actually see me, side of stage or something.
Oh, that's
good. Where she goes.
It's always a special moment.
And that's how it'll start. You watch their little eyes light up when Dad's up there, just absolutely going hammer and tong, having the best time ever, and they'll go, "I want that."
Yeah, or she could be scared and be like, "No, I got to get out of here."
Nah, man, you
go either way.
That will not happen. Because you're their safe space. So when that energy, that'll just feed straight into them. I promise you.
The passion always shines through. It's really, really good. It's like I said, amazing thing to be able to share with your kids, because you don't always get that.
Just make sure you go to Bunnings and buy some ear defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got those ready to go.
So one thing that we are asking all of our guests in the lead up to this, it's a question that we've kind of taken upon ourselves to try and get a bit of consensus on. Now, obviously, your stuff, Hidden Intent, sits much more in the thrash kind of space, but I get the sense that you're of a similar age to us, and you would have been coming up during the era of nu metal.
Yes, I'm 35, so definitely grew up on like corn and stuff,
Yeah, so something that a question we are trying to get a bit of consensus on at the moment is, obviously there is the big four of thrash. Who are the big four bands to come out of the nu metal era? They don't necessarily have to be nu metal bands, but bands that really kind of came to the fore during that period. Who would you put on the Mount Rushmore of that?
Oh, like new metal bands that I was like listening to, getting into the scene.
bands from that year, but from that time period that really kind of, maybe they wouldn't be labeled as nu metal now, but at the time they were kind of all lumped in together in the nu metal category. Who would you say is like the big four or the Mount Rushmore of that time period?
Yeah, I like that. I mean, like Korn is one of those introduction bands, right? I class them as an introduction band into metal, because I got into like grunge and stuff first. I heard that, so they'd have to be on there. Funnily enough, a local band here in Adelaide really got me into the scene. I'd probably put them in that new metal-y kind of industrial kind of vibe as well. Octanic.
Love Octanic, man. I played with them back in the day.
Yeah, dude. They used to go hard, man. I really respected them as well, as far as the way they presented themselves, the business element. They really had that influence on me. And at one stage, I was actually they were looking at getting a new bass player, and I was just new on the scene. It didn't work out, of course, but it was one of those things before I even looked at starting the whole thrash thing. Probably them. You know what, man? Truth Corroded's earlier albums.
Oh, okay.
Probably put them, their earlier stuff, I'd probably put that in there because I have heard some of the earlier material where the singer was singing a lot more and a bit more groove stuff going on. So yeah, and you know what, man, you got to throw in Limp Bizkit in there because that, growing up with my sister and stuff and her cranking Chocolate Starfish just, out of her bedroom. I could hear her up the street just coming home playing basketball all the time. Like that had a huge influence on me as well. So,
yeah. Hey, that's awesome. Well, that's pretty cool. Like there's a couple of bands in there people haven't mentioned before. So,
that's good.
That's awesome. Good. Love that.
Early Truth Corroded, not later Truth Corroded or Death Thrash. The early stuff, No,
that's
only
really,
few people
really
know what
cool.
I'm talking about.
I mean, the idea is, like I said, we're just trying to gather as many people's different opinions as we can, and then we're sort of compiling all the results.
Okay.
And when we get near the end of the year, we'll probably, put out the results of our little survey that we've been doing.
Might even do a poll, depending on how we're going.
Maybe we'll take like the top 10 or something, the top 10 from this, and then put them in a vote thing or whatever, something like that. But, it's...
It deserves it. I'm sorry. It fucking deserves it. It was such an influential time.
It
like
is.
after grunge and...
So lame, but awesome.
We look back now and people are like, some of it's just never gone away.
The fashion trends are coming back. Have you seen the amount of people wearing one-piece tracks, like a whole-piece tracksuit, the two-piece tracksuit, matching tracksuits and shit like that? Jonathan Davis worked that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
And now they're headlining Good Things as well, man.
They absolutely are.
That's huge. There was actually one more band, maybe not early Truth Corroded to a degree, but also, do you guys remember Tidal at all?
No.
Tidal. They were like our drummer's band that he was in there, or a new metal band. I haven't heard heaps of their stuff. Of what I have heard, I'm like, man, they definitely go into that new metal category as well around that time. And they played Big Day Out when Metallica played, and they've done
awesome.
some pretty big stuff, man.
Right, he's massive. Mad.
Yeah.
There you go. We're sleeping, Raff.
Cool. Yeah, no, there's a lot of
there's so much music out there, it's hard to keep up.
There's so much, man. That's why,
Yeah, I wish there was look, not that it's hard to get your music on streaming platforms, right? But I do wish that in the era of streaming that more of these bands, especially the Aussie bands from back in the day, would one of the members would get their stuff out on streaming. Because there's so many bands. Because look, I was through a lot of high school and everything, I was quite a loner. And then it wasn't until sort of the late 2000s when I started getting involved with, other people in the scene trying to start up a band that I kind of was exposed to a lot of the local bands in the scene. I knew a couple of them, but more broad stuff from across Australia, I was not really exposed to a lot of that just because I didn't know anyone that knew about the stuff. And, my exposure to a lot of this stuff early on was through Rage and video hits on the fucking, Saturday and Sunday mornings, right? So I really only knew a lot of the bigger stuff, the charting stuff, right? But there's so many of these bands from that period of like I said, the late 90s to early 2000s where, and it's kind of happening again now. There's this period in Australian music now that is just, it's going gangbusters. And the talent that's on display is wild. And there was through that period, just as there was an explosion everywhere else, there's kind of an explosion in Australia. And there's a lot of bands from that period that you just can't get their stuff anymore. And I wish there was a way I wish there was some of these bands would coordinate or at least one of the members of a lot of these bands to just put the stuff out on streaming so that the fans
I know, man.
The fans can listen to it if they've lost the CD or if new people can still discover it, right? Because it's, but
that's when it gives you that fake sense of what's going on when you get an explosion. You think you can go back and tour again, and you know what I mean. It just, you never know what's happened behind the scenes with the bands too and stuff like that. And
yeah, for sure. It's just there's a lot of bands that people talk about from that era that I'm just I just missed them because I didn't know anyone that knew about them. No one told me about them at the time, and then now that's just kind of
if you weren't there, you missed it.
Yeah, you just kind of missed it the moment in time. Well, all right. Look, thank you so much, Chris. We really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today. That's been awesome. Cannot wait to meet you in person out in the dust. Really looking forward to seeing.
Literally in the dust as well.
Literally in the dust, yeah.
Right. You couldn't be more descriptive right there.
That's it.
In the red sand.
Yep.
I've been there when I was with my Motorhead tribute. We went to the Silverton and checked out the Metal Max Museum because we're doing a show that night. And I'm like, man, we've got to check this out. And then when Ash said it was going to be there, I'm like, this is going to go off. It remind me a little bit of the Blacken Festival. Yeah. Like the one that's in Alice Springs. It'll remind me a bit of that, which we only played that once. So that'll be cool to do it all over again, mate, to get some bloody beers happening, drop bed, blow up suits, nothing sexual, and all sorts of stuff.
That's it.
Awesome.
That's it. The one koala that's not going to give you chlamydia.
Yes.
Or syphilis, or whatever it is.
All right. Well, we're going to have all the links to Hidden Intent stuff and all the Metal to the Max stuff down in the description there. So make sure you'll go and check that out. Thank you again, Chris. You've been amazing. It's been great to meet you in person out there. Thank you to my co-host, Kyle.
Thank you, Raff.
I have been Reverend Raff. You guys have been amazing, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace.
Thank you very much for watching today's video. We really hope you had a good time with us. If you did, consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons down there and ring that bell so you get notified of all the videos we've got coming out. And we do also have a Patreon. If you're interested, you can head on over there. You can get all the videos early and ad-free. A little bit of a benefit. It's only a couple of bucks a month. But if not, thank you very much for watching anyway, and we'll catch you guys next time.